Appreciation Month here on Reaction and Review. Tonight, guys, we're checking out a horror film from 1988. That movie is Video Violence 2. Now, if you've been following my series over the course of this month, you may have noticed that I covered the original Video Violence. And that movie surprised me by actually being decent. I walked into that one expecting it to really suck, and it was surprisingly well made. I had a lot of fun watching it. The sequel came out 1 year later, has a shockingly short runtime of only about an hour and 14 minutes, and it follows two characters from the previous film. Those were the two snuff filmmakers. I believe their names were Howard and Eli, who we saw periodically throughout the film. According to the back of the DVD case, in this film, they have pirated a television signal and are now broadcasting their snuff films to a much wider audience, which sounds like it might be a fascinating film. I'm not really sure. I was pleasantly surprised by the first one. I could be equally surprised with the sequel. I have no idea. The only way I'm going to find out, guys, if this thing is any good at all is if I shut up and I push play. And I'm going to do that right now. So, without further ado, it's time to kick back, relax, and check out Video Violence 2. So, Howard and Eli's show, their pirate broadcast, has commercials. I just got to see the first one. It was fucking hilarious. That was awesome, dude. Fuck yeah. So, just saw a homemade electric chair. That was fucking awesome, dude. Especially when the victim's head exploded. That was fucking tops, man. This movie is so cool, man. I'm fucking loving this thing. So, we just saw the third segment. The third, homemade snuff film sent into the Howard and Eli show. That one, so far, is by far the worst, mainly because it was just too goddamn long. It just drug on, and it went nowhere real fast, and the payoff was way too quick. Ultimately, it was a shitty segment, and hopefully the movie's gonna be able to rebound from that. And since they're cutting off this chick's thumbs, I'm going to say, yeah, they are kind of sort of rebounding real well. Now I'm just curious to see exactly where all this goes. Well, guys, I just saw a rather creative kill. Woman died by having her head shrink-wrapped. That was really cool. I was not fucking expecting that. I honestly thought it was just going to be like a suffocation thing, and then they pulled out the fucking, blow fucking dryer and turned it into a shrink-wrap kill. That was awesome. That was creative. That was amazing. Fucking loved it, man. Well, guys, that was Video Violence 2, and, that ending was certainly fascinating, I can say that much. I was not expecting that ending. It was sort of cool. Anyway, why don't we shut that off? Okay, so, what to really say about this one? Well, I will say that it is spectacularly fun to watch. I have to stress, similar to the first Video Violence, I love this kind of cheeseball shot on fucking video, goofy, corny, stupid shit. I love this. I thrive for this shit. So this thing hit me in just that right spot. So the things that I liked about it are things other people are gonna absolutely despise about this kind of film. But goddamn, I had a fun time watching this. Let's try to break it down a little bit. This movie, if we were to boil it all down, is essentially an anthology film, which is always cool. I've always enjoyed anthology films, and the concept of it is pretty cool. But there is one minor hitch. I will get to it. So the framing story is the Howard and Eli show. Howard and Eli were two of the were two of the snuff filmmakers in the first film, who actually did kind of do like a talk show-ish thing as they killed one of their victims. That has been expanded to a full-blown talk show, which they broadcast by pirating local cable television signals, which sounds really cool. And their bits, essentially, are just them torturing this one victim. Alright, and they then like throw to other videos which have been sent in. Certain ones are in the form of commercials, others are in the form of like other like tie-in shows, such as there's one set in the deli from the first film, showing off a couple of products which the deli is making, specifically to chop up human beings and drain them of their blood. It was a really funny segment, you know, and really, when you're watching an anthology film, really the quality of each of the segments really does mean a lot. And here, almost every segment is incredibly strong, except for the pizza guy segment. You see. Now, I guess before I get to the pizza guy segment and what was wrong with that segment, one minor problem I found is all of these are supposed to be tapes that were sent in to Howard and Eli, and they should look like they were hand-shot. They should look like homemade films. There's no way all of these people all have multiple cameras set up. You know, there is no way. I could totally imagine that for the toy ad. I could imagine that for the deli segment. I could even imagine that for the homemade electric chair, because the whole thing is blocked out to look as if it was shot with multiple cameras, and that the two killers involved there intended to have multiple angles. Those made sense. But the pizza guy segment doesn't have any kind of a reason to not have it all shown through handheld camera. In fact, you see the handheld camera in almost every shot, so you never actually see what's actually being filmed. Now, one problem with that segment is the length. You see, almost every other segment is awesome, it's fun, and most importantly, it doesn't overstay its welcome. Besides the fact that the pizza guy segment has a setup that takes way too fucking long. The pizza guy setup is these three college-aged women who want to show that women can kill just as effectively as men do, because they're tired of all the videos being sent into the Howard and Eli show being men killing women. They wanted to flip the fucking like script on that and have women killing men. That sounds fine. That's totally cool. The problem with that is that it takes them too long to explain that, and they sit there and they keep hitting that same point again and again. And by the time the pizza guy finally shows up, about 5 minutes has passed, and it's gone nowhere. And then there's like another 5 minutes or so of just them talking to the pizza guy, and they're getting him to dance and strip a little, and then they stab him to death. It takes like 30 seconds, and then there's a joke at the end where they happen to wonder if the Chinese place also fucking delivers, which sets up for another possible murder. The ending was cool. The actual like joke at the end was fine. It was just everything before it was very poorly paced out. It just wasn't a fun segment to watch because it takes forever to actually get to anything of interest, which means that one segment stands out, shockingly stands out compared to everything else here, because everything else here is paced fantastically, and that thing, it just drags its feet. And if that segment were either cut totally from the film, which would then turn this into probably about an hour-long movie, or drastically cut down so that way most of the pointless bullshit is gone, it would be far better. That one there was in sore need of a fucking editor, and it's the one segment in this movie that absolutely sucked. But every other segment was fun, it was cool. The ending honestly feels... Okay, well, the ending is another issue. It was a real fascinating twist. I'm not about to spoil the twist. If you're really curious, go out and watch this thing. I do recommend that. gonna want to watch the first film beforehand, because it does heavily tie into the first video violence. But that twist kind of worked, but it then twists and twists and twists again, and they basically continue to swerve the viewer. It's like, you think it's this, and then it's this, and now it's this, and that's kind of fine, but it stands out because all of that happens after Howard and Eli have gone off the air. Everything else we've seen is supposed to look like the broadcast, so it all of a sudden shifts from the broadcast to after the broadcast. It was just this real startling jump, and it felt kind of weird. So again, it wasn't bad, it just didn't feel right. You know, it had some real fascinating twists in there, but ultimately the ending kind of sucked. Now, in terms of characters, we still have Howard and Eli from the first film. They were really likable in the first film, and they're just as likable here because their personalities have not changed. And a whole lot of the other characters who we meet over the course of the film, a lot of them have really fascinating personalities, except for the 3 college fucking chicks who kill off the pizza guy, because their whole personality can be summed up with, ooh, sexism, men only kill women on Howard and Eli, and that's bad because reasons. You know, it's basically like feminist horse shit long before, you know, modern day feminists crawled up and started whining about stupid bullshit akin to that. But hey, you know, either way, I'm not gonna muddy this with that kind of shit. A whole lot of our characters here are cool and likable. I really did enjoy them. Really, guys, writing here is amazing. Minus the ending taking maybe a few fucking taking a few too many twists, and the segment with the pizza guy running far too long. Beyond those 2 things, though, writing here is amazing. Okay, and while I'm on the subject of things that are amazing, the acting here, once more, for a low budget shot on video, direct to video movie, the acting here is really solid. In fact, the acting here is better than most of the shot-on-video garbage that you wind up finding. This right here is some top-notch shit. I really had a lot of fun watching this, mainly because the actors are that likable. And it's not just Howard and Eli. It's every single killer. It's every single victim. All of them turn in a fantastic showing. Even, guys, as much as I disliked the pizza guy segment, the acting there was still really good. It's just that the writing was fucking terrible. But anyway, acting here is great, especially considering the budget and considering, a whole lot of the other variables. The acting here is a hell of a lot better than it has any right to be. So I'm going to say that is amazing. Special effects. Oh boy, special effects. Special effects here are fine, considering the budget and everything. Once more, it's one of those things where you have to consider the fact that it's a ultra low budget film. It's shot on fucking video, which means that they couldn't even afford film, so naturally special effects here are not going to be this awesome, wild-eyed, blow your fucking mind awesome. But what is here certainly looks cool. I mentioned the electric chair kill during the film, where this couple show off their homemade electric chair as they fry a victim in it. And they start with low voltage, and they slowly start fucking like cranking it up, and everything's all sparking and everything. And when the victim finally begins to die, the first thing that happens is his eyes pop out of his skull, which they actually then show in slow motion as a fucking transition, which makes it look even cheesier. But it totally shows that it is basically a rubber face that barely matches the face of the victim, and the eyeballs are just being popped out one at a time. Now the second eyeball looks cool because when it pops, it actually leaves this, you know, like red fucking like stringy fucking shit like hanging out of the socket, and it looks really cool. It looks cheap, especially when you see the you know, actual rubber head, but you know, beyond that, it still looks really good. Similar also to the bit in the fucking deli as they're slicing up this fucking woman's fingers, and they then go to a wide angle shot, and you can see that it's clearly a rubber hand, which is about 3 shades lighter than her skin. And you can see that they just had her slip her fist into the like primary part of the hand so they can chop into the rubber fingers. Looked really cheesy, but once more, there's one of those minor nothing things that a person like me notices. Most other people are probably not going to see that. But still, what is here, considering the fact that this is an ultra low budget, all ultra cheapy affair, is really well done, and I want to give justifiable praise to all the people who worked on this in terms of all of the special effects. You guys did a fantastic job with almost no money, and that's great. So we do have that. Camera work. Well, I talked about the fact that very few of these sent-in homemade snuff films attempt to actually follow the whole fact that it's supposed to look like a homemade snuff film. So everything has cameras locked in, and there's tons of like zooming and moving and dolly shots. And while all of that is cool and all of it looks incredibly well done, it doesn't work when it's supposed to be a homemade snuff film. I'm sorry. I'm really sorry if that seems ultra trivial, but it really would have been nice if each of these segments would have actually looked like a handheld shot on video thing, minus perhaps the ones that were supposed to have a level of production quality to them. Once more, the fucking deli and the chair immediately come to mind. Almost every other segment actually has the cameras in shot, so instead of showing us what's being filmed, we're watching the person who's filming the snuff film, and somehow the magical camera that's catching it all is the one whose tape was sent to Howard and Eli. It's trivial, it's stupid, and you can totally look past it and just have fun with the movie. So I'm not really going to dock them much on that. I'm not going to go, this fucking movie sucks because the snuff films are not realistic. No, I am not going to say that, but I am going to say that what is here in terms of camera work is awesome. It is very well done. It's just, it doesn't totally work for the kind of things we were supposed to be witnessing. Now, while I'm on the subject of fucking picking things that are not completely realistic, it would have been nice if each tape would have looked like it was shot at perhaps different fucking speeds or shot with different cameras in order to actually make it look like these were actual tapes sent in from other people. Again, this is a minor trivial nothing that only losers like me notice and think about, but it was something that was sort of weighing on my mind, and it would have probably enhanced the overall look of the film slightly. But once more, what is here is really well done. Our sound mix here is really solid. Usually, there actually are like a couple of lines which are kind of sort of muffled, but oh well, they're all trivial, pointless lines that really don't help enhance anything. So ultimately, guys, when all's said and done, can I recommend Video Violence 2? Fuck yes, I totally can. This movie was amazing. It was certainly funny. It definitely had some awesome gore. Again, when you consider the budget, it's actually kind of a miracle that we got what we got. Really, guys, damn near everything here is awesome except for the ending, which doesn't know what the fuck it really wants to do, and the pizza guy segment for running way too fucking long. However, besides those two niggling points, everything else here is great, and I can completely recommend this movie. I absolutely can. Especially since you get it on DVD in a 2-pack with the first Video Violence, and the first Video Violence was awesome. This thing is a fantastic follow-up. It is a perfect companion piece. I could totally recommend purchasing the DVD of Video Violence and Video Violence 2 and marathoning both movies back to back. It's that fucking cool. I can absolutely do that. These movies were great. Now, because it's Fan Appreciation Month, Video Violence 2 came off the Amazon wish list. The person who sent it in was Robert. And Robert sent in a lot of movies for this series, and I do thank him immensely for it. Please, guys, swing on over to Robert's Amazon profile. Check out everything he has written over there. I will provide a link for you below in this video's description. Please swing over there. Check out everything that he has written. Robert, I know I've said this a lot of times because you've sent in so much stuff, but dude, I do thank you. I thank you for sending in all the movies which you have sent in. It is awesome, and it is helping keep this series going, because I almost am always guaranteed to have at least something. I can look at the, 15, maybe 20 movies I still have from you that I still have to cover, and I'll go, I think I can pick a couple from there, and boom, I'm set. And that is all thanks to you, dude. You are fucking awesome. I thank you. Please, guys, swing on over to Robert's Amazon profile. Check out everything that he has written there. You know, this movie was really something else. I actually kind of feel like watching the first Video Violence again. And maybe after I'm done watching that, I'll come back and I'll watch this thing a second time. Or perhaps maybe I'll dig through all of the bonus features on the DVD and I'll see if there's anything interesting there. I'm not totally sure, but that certainly sounds like a fun idea to me. Anyway, my friends, with that we come to the close of another reaction and review. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, take care, and I will see you all in the near future. Peace.